Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud24 TV, tupo live kutokea Serengeti.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud24 TV, tupo live kutokea Serengeti, kongamano la kisayansi kuhusu uhifadhi wa bonde la Mto Mara, ukumbi wa Kisale Mgumu, Serengeti. Bana, tuko moja kwa moja, endelea kutufuatilia. Na hivi sasa namuona mgeni rasmi ambaye ni rasi wa mkoa wa Mara, ndio anaingia na kukaribishwa na viongozi mbalimbali pale.
We are hearing you clearly.
Thank you. Karibuni sana.
Asante sana. Mungu bariki.
like this conference to go as far as possible. We'll be beginning shortly, probably in under 3 minutes. We apologize for the delay in the start, but I do believe you are going to catch up on time. Thank you very much. I will request, when we are still standing, that our sister Pamela comes to pray for us.
May we pray. Our God and Father, in the dear name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we want to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise for this beautiful day that you have given us, that we may rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you, Lord, for bringing all of us from far and wide to gather here on this scientific conference. Thank you, Jehovah God, for a beautiful ecosystem, beautiful natural resources that you have given us, Lord. And today, as we discuss on ways and strategies to conserve our ecosystem, I pray, Lord, that you're going to endow us with all the wisdom and all the knowledge and understanding, that from here, Lord, each one of us is going to do its best, that our ecosystem may be conserved to the glory and to the honor of your name. May you start with us, O Lord, and may you end with us. We thank you and we worship you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. May we all have our seats. Our chief guest, Madam Edith Mwanje, the Regional Administrative Secretary, Mheshimiwa Msalika Makungu, LVBC Executive Secretary, Dr. Masinde Bwire, our representatives from the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Kenya, and our keynote speaker today, Emeritus Dr. Ali Said Matano, all protocols observed. On behalf of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission, we wish to welcome you to this Mara Day Celebration Scientific Conference. We are happy to be celebrating the 12th Mara Day here in Mugumo, in the United Republic of Tanzania. Before you are folders which contain the program of the day, the concept note, the book of abstracts, and the registration forms, which we will request that you fill in and present to Madam Anna Awinja at the back at some convenient time. We may also come around to pick them. We also have a special edition of the Mara newsletter. Please make time and read it. I'm sure you will enjoy it. We also have essays and drawings from the younger generation which are at the back of the room. We also request that you make time to read through. We are trying to nurture a generation that is going to inherit a rich Mara. And so the students have penned their thoughts and they are at the back. Please make time to read them. We also have convenience rooms at the back of the room whenever you need to make use of them. Please feel free. With that said, I beg now to invite the Deputy Executive Secretary of LVBC, Engineer Coletta Ruhamia, and as she comes, I also wish to recognize the presence of our presenters and moderators who are already in the room, and also to appreciate our guests who are attending this session virtually. Please feel welcome. Welcome, Engineer Coletta.
Thank you very much, Millicent. Our guest of honor, Madam Edith Mwanje, and PS Nyaka Uganda, Ras, Mheshimiwa Msalika Makungu, Lake Victoria Basin Commission, Executive Secretary, Dr. Masinde Bwire, our keynote speaker, Dr. Matano, and former ES, former LVBC ES, our representative from Kenya, Mr. Wabu, and representative from URT as head of delegation, Mr. Mataka. Colleagues, our distinguished participants and presenters, good morning once again. My name is Coletta Ruhamia. I'm the Deputy Executive Secretary, Lake Victoria Basin Commission, and I'm happy to moderate the first session of this conference. I'm very honored to this 12th Mara Day Scientific Conference and to moderate this session with a theme that says conserving Mara Basin for biodiversity and sustainable economy. In our common language, as the EAC language, hifadhi mto Mara kwa viumbe hai na uchumi endelevu. The 12th Mara Day celebration has its uniqueness, and I would like to say why. The number 12 is based with spirituality, and can be seen as a symbol of growth and finding ways to bring deeper meaning of life. Nilikuwa nikiangalia kwa Biblia, Agano la Kale kwa Wakristo inataja makabila 12 ya wana wa Israeli. Ikija kwa Agano Jipya inasema mitume 12 wa Yesu Kristo. Ikija kwa Quran, it says Allah is 12, Allah signifying exclusivity in the matter. So the number of 12 of months with the Allah. So 12 months with the Allah is mentioned in the Quran. It is basically a symbol of faith, and it is a powerful number because it represents perfection, and I'm optimistic that this 12th Mara Day celebration will take us to the next stage in regional cooperation for managing our shared Mara River ecosystem. I was looking at the African Water Vision 2025, focusing on equitable and sustainable use of water for socio-economic development. And one of the natural traits on water bodies in Africa is the multiplicity transboundary water basin. That is like Mara and Lake Victoria. And the others, of course. And one of the 10 set objectives in this vision is to address these identified challenges. We make sure that water basins serve as a basis for the regional cooperation and development, and treated as a natural asset for all within such basins. In addition, the vision calls for a new way of thinking about water management and a new form of regional cooperation. For that case, it calls for us strong partnership and solidarity between the countries that share a common water basin. Distinguished delegates, I realized this is what we are doing today, and I want to congratulate our two sister countries, Kenya and URT, for your contribution towards the realization for Africa Water Vision 2025. I believe this scientific conference will enlighten for more strategic ways to cement, to sustain, and reshape the cooperation for betterment of our region and beyond. Without taking much of your time, allow me to, kwa hayo machache niseme tu kwamba tunaingia sasa katika opening remarks, and without taking much of your time, we'll have a welcome remarks from the host country, URT, and then you have remarks from Republic of Kenya. Then it will be followed by remarks from LBBC, by Executive Secretary Dr. Masinde Willi, who will also welcome the Chief of Guests for her remarks. And then we'll follow the keynote address after that. For that, I would like to welcome the representative from the host country to come and give. For the host country to come and give his remarks. The floor is yours. Your turn.
Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. That is our common salutation in Tanzania. And would like to recognize the presence of the chief guest, Honorable Edith Mwanje, the permanent secretary for the Republic of Uganda, Dr. Masinde Bwire, the CEO of Lake Victoria Basin Commission, the executive engineer Sylvester Mateo, NBI executive director, head of delegation from the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Saidi Matano, former executive secretary of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission. I recognize the presence of the Lompen Party, employees from the ministry, different officers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the East African Cooperation. I can see my chair, Excellency, from the district councils from Serengeti, Butiama, Tarime, Musoma, Bonde, and Deloria. Experts from the Regional Secretariat, Mara Region, and from our district councils. Na nina imani kwamba wote nitakuwa nimewakumbuka. I'm here just to give a word of welcome remarks on behalf of the United Republic of Tanzania. Nianze kwa kusema ninawakaribisha sana wageni wote wenye mkoa wa Mara, wilaya ya Serengeti, kwenye mji wa Mgumu, ndani ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa ajili ya shughuli hii maalum ya maadhimisho ya siku ya Mara, maadhimisho ya 12. Mjisikie mko nyumbani, na kwa niaba ya serikali muhakikishie kwamba tutawahudumia vizuri na mtakaa salama katika kipindi chote ambacho mtakuwa hapa. Sote tunafahamu kwamba tuko hapa kwa sababu ya kulinda maslahi yetu ya pamoja kupitia uhifadhi endelevu wa bonde la mto Mara. Na tunapofanya maadhimisho haya, lengo ni kuendelea kujenga uelewa, creating awareness among stakeholders kuhusiana na umuhimu wa kuhifadhi bonde la Mara, lakini vile vile kutambua maslahi na faida kwa maana ya rasilimali zilizoko kwenye bonde. Lakini tukikutana hapa vile vile tunajaribu kutambua michango ya stakeholders, watu wote ambao tumekuwa tukisaidiana katika utunzaji wa bonde. Lakini katika kutangaza fursa tunavutia vile vile ushirikiano kati ya serikali pamoja na sekta binafsi katika kuhakikisha kwamba tunatunza bonde la mto Mara. Wale ambao mlikuwepo kwenye maadhimisho ya mwanzo, sio mara ya kwanza maadhimisho haya ya siku ya Mara kufanyika hapa Mgumu, na inawezekana wengine mmeona mabadiliko makubwa yaliyopo, ikiwemo ukuaji wa mji nadhani na executive former executive secretary ameshaona mabadiliko kwamba alivyokuja mwanzo na sasa hivi kuna tofauti. Ndugu wageni, tutasikiliza mawasilisho mbalimbali kutoka kwa wataalamu. The scientific presentations that we are going to receive from our experts, which get time to discuss, and from those presentations to set strategies on how we are going to enhance conservation of our basin to make sure that it remains sustainable and we continue benefiting from Mara River Basin. Kwa hiyo nina imani kwamba kila mmoja atashiriki kwa uhuru ili kuhakikisha kwamba maadhimisho ya 12 yanakuwa yenye faida na yenye tija kubwa. Baada ya kusema hayo, niwakaribishe sana katika Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa ajili ya shughuli hii muhimu. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Asante sana mheshimiwa. Makofi jamani kwa mheshimiwa. Naomba tumkaribishe head wa delegation from Kenya. The floor is yours, Mr. Mwabu.
Our chief guest, Madam Edith Mwanje, PS, EAC, from the Republic of Uganda. All protocols observed. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Julius Mwabu from the Ministry of East African Community, Republic of Kenya. Let me start, Madam Chief Guest, by thanking the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm welcome that they have given to the entire delegation from the Republic of Kenya. Most of us arrived here from Madi, and we have really enjoyed the hospitality, the warm welcome from the very generous people of this town, the town of Ngumu. This is a part of the United Republic of Tanzania that I believe majority of the members of this delegation have not been to before, but the memories that they will take home from the comfort they have enjoyed, the hospitality they have enjoyed, will be long-lasting. This will also, of course, remind them that the reason why they were here in this year of 2023, September, specifically on the days leading to the 15th day of the month, is to celebrate the Mara Day. Since we started celebrating Mara Day in 2012, we have successfully been holding this day without failure, and I thank the Lake Victoria Basin Commission for their steadfast preparations, for their commitment. Indeed, even during times when everything else went down during COVID, we still celebrated Mara Day. No Mara Day has gone uncelebrated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something to applaud the LBBC for. I would like to also thank various development partners who have been working with us this journey, all the stakeholders within the Mara Basin who have indeed taken concerted efforts to conserve this very important ecosystem that is of immense benefit to the two partner states. We, on our part, the Republic of Kenya, have taken a lot of measures, including our call by the head of state to plant 15 billion trees, and part of this effort is actually going into the Mara Basin. I'm glad to report that even before we came to this, although this day is being celebrated in Mugumu, the conservation efforts during this time, for those who are not coming to the Mara, is actually going on within the various counties, the county of Bomet, the county of Nakuru, the county of Kericho, and the county of Narok, which are within the basin or where the River Mara actually originates from. We all recall that when we started having this day, we were only celebrating the 15th, and we only had the tree planting and cleaning exercises, cleanup exercises. But the day has since evolved to what we are having today, the scientific conference, where we are having various researchers, scientists who have carried a lot of research work within the basin and the related work come to present to us most of the work that they have done and which informs policy in managing the resources within the Mara River Basin. So, chief guests, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to spend a lot of time here talking because most of what is coming today is what we are looking forward to hearing. And I want to end here by thanking everybody for being present and wishing all of us a very successful and informative day. Thank you very much.
Asante sana Mr. Mwambu kwa maneno hayo mazuri na commitment ya kulinda bonde la mto Mara. Allow me, before I proceed to call the next speaker, to recognize our very strong partners. I want to recognize Executive Director of Nile Basin Initiative, Engineer Matem Prince, stand for recognition. I also would like to recognize Mr. John Owino, IUCN, very strong partner to LPC. Please stand for recognition. Also allow me to recognize and thank our sponsors. EcoBank, representative from EcoBank is not here, yeah. GIZ, I can see Conrad here with us. Thank you very much. We always appreciate your support. But also, please, to remind our followers online, we are live on Clio 24 TV. Just to remind you. So without taking much of your time, allow me to welcome our Executive Secretary, Dr. Masinde Bwile, to come and give his remarks, and after that, we also welcome our guest of honor. Dr. Masinde, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm Engineer Koreta, I'm the Deputy Secretary of the Commission. Allow me, before starting my remark, to really start by appreciating our host country, the United Republic of Tanzania, kwa makaribisho mazuri, kwa maandalizi mazuri, na pia nchi yetu ya Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa kazi nzuri ambazo zimeshafanyika tangu siku ya kwanza hadi leo tarehe 14. Nafikiri tumeanza sherehe hizi kuanza tarehe 11. Tuwapigie makofi pia Jamhuri ya Kenya. It was said by the representative, Director Mwabu, counties of Narok, about 4 counties they are started in the celebrations because they are here. they are also continuing there with the Republic of Kenya with celebrations. Chief guest, Madam Edith Manje, our permanent secretary from the Republic of Uganda, who you are responsible for the East African Community Affairs. We are blessed to have you here today. My brother, we call it LAS, the abbreviation, Msarika Akungu, we thank you very much for your good work. I recognize also the presence of the head of delegation from Kenya, the Kenyan delegation. Kindly allow me to see also some waving from the Kenyan delegation there. Hearts from Kenya, please. This yet is wonderful. Thank you very much, Director Marco, with your dedication. We recognize also the presence of Director Mataka, Engineer Mataka, the head of delegation from the URT, and even Tanzania delegation. You can also see their wives. Them having Tanzanians who are here. Yes, the room is balanced. We recognize the presence of district commissioners led by the DC of Serengeti district. Also allow me to where you are. Can we see you having? Thank you, Dr. Mashinji. I have also seen the district commissioner from Noria. Kindly work. And our commissioner leaders from who are any commissioners who are there, district commissioners. That's Tarime. Thank you very much. And any high level, maybe from Kenya, the level of maybe directors, can you also wait a bit? Let me ask my colleagues who are there. Thank you very much. Colleagues, allow me also to thank and recognize the presence of Ecobank, and I hope they are led by the Ecobank Kenya, KCB Tanzania, our colleagues WWF, ICN, and the JZW recognize. We thank you very much because through the collective effort, this scientific conference has been. Let me start by thanking. It has been a long period before having such kind of scientific conference since 2019. Kabla ya pale Dr. Matano ulifanyika hapa, COVID ilikuja ikadisrupt. Tunashukuru tunayo scientific conference. We thank you very much, and we thank even the organizers, including my team. It gives me a great honor to address you today at Serengeti District in Mara region on this important event regarding this scientific conference jointly organized by EAC, LBC, the host country, our United Republic of Tanzania, and the Republic of Kenya. Together with our development partners, I have mentioned KFW, WWF, Ecobank, and KCB Tanzania. These two are delegates and our respected participants. Our collective commitment to the conference titled Conserving Mara River for Biodiversity and Sustainable Economy underscores the importance of safeguarding these precious resources for the future in our present generation. The Mara River is, we all know, is a lifetime for the flora and the fauna in both Kenya and Tanzania. It sustained the rich biodiversity of this region while driving economic activities that are powered by the waters and the rich biodiversity. This conference provides us with a unique forum to deliberate on the challenges facing this critical ecosystem and identify opportunities that need to be seized to ensure sustainable conservation of the Mara Serengeti ecosystem, and how to utilize potentials is a driver of our sustainable economy in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware that the conference is structured around two critical subthemes. To mention them, one is on transboundary water resources management and eco-diplomacy. Number two is on biodiversity and natural resources conservation for sustainable economy. These two sub-themes clearly highlight the intricate and the relationship between the health of our shared ecosystem to a sustainable economy. Madam Chief Guest, these sub-themes are formulated in an understanding that the shared water resources that we all are aware, like the Mara River, do not recognize our political borders because it is beyond to Kenya, to Uganda, and then to Kenya and Tanzania. In that way, you cannot really put a political mark. That is why cooperation and eco-diplomacy are vital to ensure that these shared resources are used wisely and equitably utilized. Let us therefore engage in a constructive dialogue and share best practices to enhance transboundary water management and foster peaceful coexistence among our two sister East African partner states. Distinguished participants and delegates, and the dear chief guest, this gathering brings together researchers, scientists, experts, and other stakeholders from diverse backgrounds. This gives me a confidence that this conference will yield valuable recommendations that will shape the future of the River Mara Basin management. The recommendations will not only demonstrate our commitment and resolve various challenges, but will also serve as a roadmap of actions towards correcting our sustainable effort for development agenda and ecological integrity of this shared ecosystem. Ultimately, our chief guest, I urge all of us to approach this conference with an open mind, with a spirit of collaboration, and a determination to safeguard the Mara River Basin. Let our discussions be guided by the principles of sustainability, equity, and responsibility toward future generations. Together, ladies and gentlemen, we can ensure that the Mara River continues to flow, not just as a source of life, but as a symbol of our commitment to a better and a more sustainable future. By those few remarks, allow me now to welcome our chief guest, Madam Wendy, to come and officiate this celebration.
The head of delegation of the host country, United Republic of Tanzania, the head of delegation from the Republic of Kenya, the Executive Secretary, Lake Victoria Basin Commission, Dr. Masinde Wile, the Deputy Executive Secretary, Madam Coletta Ruhamia, distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Al-Saidi Matano, the Regional Commissioner for Mara Region, Regional Administrative Secretary, Mara Region, the District Commissioner, Serengeti District, senior government officials present, development partners, representatives, colleagues from Lake Victoria Basin Commission, partner institutions from research and academia, the staff of the LVBC, and other ESC and regional institutions. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand here with great pleasure and honor to address you on this day, the 12th Mother Day Scientific Conference, a precursor to the 12th Mother Day celebrations scheduled for tomorrow, as we all know, which holds great significance in our collective pursuit of regional integration and sustainable development. Madam Corrector has already told us the spiritual meaning of 12. I didn't know. Thank you so much. So as we celebrate this 12th Mother Day Scientific Conference, and also the 12th Mother Day, which we shall be celebrating tomorrow, we do believe that our spiritual lives will improve greatly. I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizers, both from the Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Kenya, and the Lake Victoria Basin Commission, who really have already ensured that this celebration takes place, come rain or shine. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our colleagues from the two partner states. I want to tell you that for us who are not in this region, we wish you were in this region, because you are so serious about this, the Mara River and the Mara region celebrations, that you never miss out. And we are also now saying that why don't we have a day for Lake Victoria, so that we say all of us come together and celebrate religiously like you do such a day. I'm sure the LVBC will be talking more about that and discussing with the other partner states to make sure that we have another celebration, a cause to come together and celebrate a shared heritage. Distinguished participants, these celebrations are a testament to the power of regional cooperation and diplomacy, showcasing the importance of cross-border partnerships. By coming together as sister ESC partner states, we not only promote people-to-people integration, but also pave the way for attracting sustainable investments. We recognize that this cooperation is instrumental in achieving our environmental management and biodiversity conservation goals, a crucial aspect of our shared responsibility to protect our natural resources. I am today not only as the chief guest, but also as an observer, eager to learn from the Mara River Basin management, which is hailed as a remarkable success story. I believe this experience will provide valuable insights that can be applied to other river basins within Uganda and across the East African community. By studying and understanding the Mara River Basin's approach, we can better tackle the challenges facing our own regions, ultimately enhancing our water resource management practices. Ladies and gentlemen, I commend the innovation displayed in organizing this scientific conference. The role it plays in co-generating knowledge and the decision support too cannot be overstated. In an era where information is key to informed decision making, events like this serve as invaluable platforms for researchers, policymakers, and stakeholders to come together and collaborate in generating solutions to the complex challenges we face. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage all of us to openly discuss and share our experience and insights and celebrate not only the Mara River Basin, but also the spirit of unity the spirit of cooperation, and the spirit of innovation that brings us together today. Together, we can pave the way for a sustainable and prosperous future for our regions, where the lessons learned here can be shared and applied for the benefit of all and for the benefit of East African integration. I look forward to productive discussions and fruitful outcomes from this conference, and I thank you all for your dedication to our shared vision. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Makofi tena jamani kwa mheshimiwa. Asanteni sana kwa speech nzuri, maneno mazuri na wasaha mzuri. Asanteni sana. The next speaker. Baada ya hizo speech nyingine nzuri sana tumezisikiliza. Sasa tunaenda kwa what we call a keynote address. Guess who is going to give us keynote address? Keynote address is going to be given by Dr. Ali Saidi Matano. Dr. Ali Saidi Matano is a Kenyan executive profession, experienced in institutional policy and strategic leadership, with over 30 years of experience in managing and developing policies and programs at national and international levels. He holds a PhD in environmental sciences from Maseno University, Kenya, a Master of Sciences in Resource Management from Edinburgh University, UK, Bachelor of Sciences in Forestry from Moi University, Kenya, and a postgrad diploma in International Environmental Law and Policy from National Law University of Delhi, India. Dr. Matano has demonstrable expertise in watershed management, blue economy, transboundary water cooperation, hydro and eco-diplomacy, regional integration, environmental law, and policy and resource mobilization and partnership development. He is the former Executive Secretary of the East African Community Lake Victoria Basin Commission. That's why he's here, by the way. Where he is accredited with key achievements such as development of mega projects, enactment of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Act, fundraising for the construction of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters, and is among the minds behind the Mara Bay. Dr. Matano is currently heading the Africa Center for Health, Environment and Water Services, and an advisor on blue economy for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Nairobi. Dr. Matano is an ardent researcher and has authored and co-authored several papers published in international journals. He did his PhD thesis along the transboundary Mara River Basin entitled The Effects of Land Use Changes in Water Quality and Aquatic Biotic in the Mara River Basin in Kenya and Tanzania. Dr. Matano, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Engineer Collector. You have really decorated me, I think, probably because I'm a keynote speaker. Normally keynote speakers are politicians or celebrities, and because I'm not a celebrity, you have decided to color me red. Now, I am going to request that when I say Jamhuri ya Kenya, mseme bottom up. Na nikisema Jamhuri ya Tanzania, si mnajua vile tutasema? Jamhuri ya Tanzania. Jamhuri ya Tanzania. Jamhuri ya Kenya. Jamhuri ya Kenya. Sasa nafikiri mkuu wa wilaya tumewiana. The guest of honor, Madam Edith Mwanje, mama wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki kutoka Jamhuri ya Uganda, Mheshimiwa Ras, ndugu yangu Msalika, ndugu yangu Bwire, Dr. Bwire ambaye ni mrithi wangu katika Lake Victoria Basin Commission, washiriki ama viongozi wa ujumbe wa Kenya ambaye ni Julius Mwabu, ndugu yangu pia, na mwakilishi pia wa ujumbe wa Tanzania ndugu Mataka, rafiki yangu wa miaka mingi Engineer Matemu, katibu mkuu wa Nile Basin Initiative, wageni ambao mmehudhuria mkutano huu, waandishi wa habari, ndugu zetu wa Tanzania, ndugu zetu wa Kenya, asalamu alaikum. Mwenyezi Mungu asifiwe. Nafikiri dada Koleta, kama vile mgeni wa heshima alivyosema, nafikiri umetuanzisha sawa. Umenukuu Biblia ambayo nitakufuatilia kwa sababu sikusikia vizuri unipe hizo verses. Pia umenukuu Quran, pia nitakufuatilia kwa sababu hii siku ya leo ambayo tuko hapa ni siku ambayo imejaaliwa, kwa sababu hatuko hapa kupiga siasa ama nini, lakini tuko hapa kwa maslahi ya Mto Mara, na nafikiri nashukuru sana. Pia nichukue nafasi hii ya kipekee kabla sijaenda kwa keynote address yangu kumshukuru sana Daktari Bwire ambaye ndo amechukua usukani kutoka kwangu kwa kuweza kuendeleza Bonde, kamisheni ya Bonde ya Ziwa Victoria hadi tulipo sasa, na tukawa na ufanisi mkuu katika hii Mara Day. Waswahili wanasema siku njema kujulikana asubuhi. Leo ni tarehe 14, lakini dalili za tarehe 15 ni dhahiri kwamba tutakuwa tumefaulu. Pia nishukuru sana kwamba mrithi wangu alitoka jumuiya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, kwa sababu wengi walikuwa nasema pia Matano ni Tanzania, na hata sasa kuna watu hapo wanafikiria pengine mimi nilihama, lakini mimi ni Mkenya, lakini vile vile mimi ni mwana Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, kwa hivyo sisi tuko pamoja. Baada ya salamu hizo, Bwana Ras, sasa nitaomba nibadilishe niongee lugha hii nyingine ya Kiingereza kwa sababu tuna wataalamu hapa, tuna wageni wetu, rafiki yangu kutoka GIZ na wengine ndio tuliwane. Na kini sana nitafikiri nitatumia lugha ambayo tunaita Kiswahili. Hiyo nafikiri nilisoma Tiama kwamba kuna Kiswahili unachanganya Kiswahili na Kiingereza, ndio ladha ya statement inakuwa tamu. Our guest of honor, Madam Mwanje, the Regional Administrative Secretary, my brother Executive Secretary, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this keynote address for this very important day, the Mara Day. And perhaps I'll start my statement not in the mood that our sister engineer started with spiritually, but unfortunately or fortunately I'm going to start it from a scientific point of view. There are those people who are called evolution enthusiasts. Wale wanasema kwamba pengine sisi tulitoka kwa nyani, tukaja kwa binadamu. Those are evolution theorists. But one thing that I want to agree with them is that they believe that life started from water. at least there we agree. Life started from water. And there is a saying which some of us, like I saw my brother Francis Karaoke, we were with him in college, so, and I'm seeing him today. Unfortunately, we are meeting in Tanzania. We should have met in Kenya so that you can pay my debt. So, asante sana Karaoke. So there is a saying which is a bit complicated, but I'll try to simplify it, because the people we have here, we have different stakeholders here. And guest of honor, I'll try to use what is called FM. FM in radio, it's called frequency modulated, so that I'm not too scientific, so that watu wa kawaida pia tuwe tunawasiliana, na kwamba kila mtu hapa sio mwanasiasa, na hali sisi tunataka pia ku share hiyo knowledge ambayo tunayo. And that is also one thing I'm going to ask my friends who are going to present subsequently. Let us communicate in a language that most of us understand. Otherwise, conception to birth actually is a replica of how evolution took place. After conception, the fertilized egg is called a zygote. And that zygote actually is in water, because the amniotic fluid is actually water. And it goes the process. At a certain point, if you can scan that zygote, it has a tail. It looks like a tadpole. Inakaa kama ile, you know, the tadpole tutahitaji kwa Kiswahili. But as it develops, the tail degenerates, and by the time of birth, already a human being is formed, and that human being now transforms from water to land. So that is what we say ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. This signifies the importance of water and life forms. And it is indeed important that the theme of this scientific conference primarily focus on water conservation for biodiversity. Water and biodiversity, they go hand in hand. And of course, with the reference to the Mara River Basin, loosely translated as my sister has said, uhifadhi wa maji kwa minajili ya viumbe hai, because of biodiversity. That's a very, very strong theme for this conference. There is some light which is really, I know the media will want it, but I think something can be done with that light. So the reference of this theme to the Mara ecosystem in particular is significant because Mara is a transboundary ecosystem. We know, of course, upstream is in the Republic of Kenya, which covers about 65%, and the rest at 5% is in the United Republic of Tanzania, and it traverses 395 kilometers from its original point. Foresters from Kenya in this room may know Kiptunga Forest. There is a wetland called Nakuyaipu wetland, and that is where we believe Mara emanates into Lake Victoria all the way through Musoma Bay, which is not very far from here. But I want to share with you that along its stretch, Mara River is a sight to behold. I'm just going to summarize what you will see as you go down Mara River. And indeed, as the engineer has mentioned, I did my PhD on the Mara River from the top up to the Kirumi Bay as it enters the Republic of Tanzania, Victoria in the Republic of Tanzania. So this is a sight to behold. And it starts from that serene crest called Kiptunga, is a very, very small, source of a river. You can't believe that would come into a river down to the greenery of Kericho and Bomet. I know we have Sari and your friends, you are from Bomet. You can imagine the greenery in that place. Down to the Mara Plains, and of course, this is dotted with the significant biodiversity before it enters into parasitic, what I call parasitic Serengeti in Tanzania, down its way through Kirumi, and in Kirumi one significant thing is that it is filtered. there is God put a sieve there in the name of the Kirumi wetland, where the water is sieved and it enters Lake Victoria when it is very clean. Sisi ambao tumetumia daraja ya mto Mara, ukiona maji pale Bwana Ras, hautafikiria ni maji ya Mara ukiangalia kule. Kule ni mekundu, lakini yanapoingia ziwa Victoria kwa sababu ya ardhi oevu ama wetlands, it is sieved and it enters into the lake as very, very clean water, and that signifies the importance of us conserving our wetlands. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, regionally, nationally, transboundary waters are the most vulnerable and hotspot for conflict. They are the hotspots for conflict. And we do recall, some of us again, what used to be called the tragedy of the commons. The tragedy of the commons. And I want to simplify this by again using two friends of mine, one called Kitandu from Tanzania, and another one called Kamau from the Republic of Kenya. Now, in the tragedy of the commons, Kitandu says, I shall not do it because Kamau from Kenya will do it. Kamau from Kenya says, I shall also not do it because Kitandu from Tanzania will do it. In the end, nobody does it. And that is the tragedy of the transboundary ecosystems. So for those people who didn't understand that, ni hile wewe utafanya, mimi sifanye, fulani atafanya na fulani anasema wewe utafanya, mwisho unapatikana kwamba hakuna chochote ambacho kimefanyika. This scenario has prompted discussions on the need for cooperation and diplomacy in the management of transboundary waters at all levels, globally, regionally, internationally, nationally, but most importantly, locally. I would call it the Mukumu level. That is why we are here to discuss that scenario of us doing it together. And I'm so proud as I stand here that down the line, Kenyans and Tanzanians are coming together for a common purpose called the Mara River. We may not realize the importance of this because we are the one doing it, and the RAS, what we say, majicho kuona, lakini halijioni. One time, we went with one of the participants who is here, called Godwin. Maybe most of you know him, Godwin Mumbo. And we went with him to a forum, I think, in Sweden. And we are given a memorandum of understanding of the matter. I don't believe the interest that it raises, because in international, everyone does not exist, but I'll talk about that. Ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to a bit delve into the matter at hand. Honorable Executive Secretary has said that this conference is actually dual-themed. The first theme is on transboundary water resource management and diplomacy, and the other one is biodiversity conservation for sustained economic development. And therefore, I'll try, I'm not just going to give an open keynote address, but I'll try to tease out issues on each of these themes. And I will start with the transboundary water resources management and diplomacy. Our guests, globally, there exist instruments and framework that guide the management of transboundary waters. We have them at the very, very high elevation, 40,000 feet. We have those instruments. And perhaps the two instruments commonly used, and the one that you have domesticated in most of our legal instruments at national level, including our own protocol for sustainable development of the Victoria Basin, are basically two. One of them is the Convention on the Protection and Use of Transboundary Watercourses and International Lakes, commonly called the Water Convention, which is a unique international legal and diplomatic instrument and an intergovernmental platform that aims at ensuring sustainable use of transboundary waters by facilitating cooperation. The reason why you cannot dislodge diplomacy from cooperation, especially in transboundary water ecosystem, is because we need to talk one another. Partner states are sovereign and they can do what they desire, and therefore we don't use, but we use cooperation and diplomacy. And that is one of the international legal framework that provides that platform. The second one, a guest of honor, is the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe of 1992, which comes up with a convention on the protection and use of transboundary waters and international lake. This is domiciled in Geneva. And you may be aware, Madam Guest of Honor, that Uganda is way ahead in terms of ascending to this framework, because last year I was in Entebbe and we actually had a team from Geneva, and they were actually discussing on the final stages of Uganda ascending to this. I'm also aware that the Republic of Kenya and the United Republic of Tanzania are also doing this, but Uganda was ahead because you do realize that 90% of waters in Uganda are actually transboundary, and therefore we need this framework, and it is good that one of our partner states can ascend so that the others can ascend. This International Water Convention offers the government this Water Convention offers an intergovernmental framework that provides policy responses to emerging challenges such as climate change and also water allocation in a transboundary forum. So we already have an international framework that can assist us in the framework. But nonetheless, this particular framework, the two that I've mentioned, are also backed up by certain principles. Again, we ascribe to these principles, especially if you have resources in a transboundary ecosystem like we have in the Mara. They are actually guiding principles that we have to use. One of them is called the law of voiceage. The law of voiceage. Those for the French, the last name is a bit complicated. It is a French name. It is derived from French, and it comes from a word voisan. Voisan, for those people who don't write. Voisan. Voisan means actually neighbor. It propagates, or it provides a framework of good neighborliness, because any transboundary ecosystem must be based on good neighborliness. The second one, principle, which is very important, and water practitioners know this at heart, but perhaps it's one of the principles that is not much used because of probably certain things that we might not be able to explain, is actually the principle of equitable and reasonable utilization of transboundary water resources. Equitable, not equal, and reasonable utilization of transboundary water. As we utilize the waters of the Mara, it must be used in an equitable and reasonable way, so that it benefits all the people. And this principle actually is important and crucial because it is the one that is critical in water sharing and that is not utilized effectively. It really provides a framework upon which people can share the water resources. The other principle that people don't like, especially the private sector, I hope they are also here, is what we call the polluter pays principle. You pollute, you pay. And pollution is not just downstream, but it is both downstream and upstream. It's also a very important, principle when we are using transboundary water resources. But if you are using your own and you want to pollute, sawa sawa. Lakini if you are my neighbor, don't pollute my water just because you have sovereignty. But we need to protect that water. And the last one, of course there are many, but the last principle is rather an interesting one. It has also a difficult name. It is called Sic Utero Tuo. Sic, S-I-C, Sic Utero Tuo principle. This principle has a very interesting history that I'm not going to go through here, but it is founded on harmonic, somebody who was in the US long time ago. He was an attorney general in the US, and it was called Hammond. So it was called harmonic principle. And Hammond, one time there was a disagreement, I think, between the US and Mexico. And Hamon advised the government, you don't have to worry about Mexico. We are sovereign, and therefore whatever goes there, it's their own area. And that is why it was harmonic, and this prompted the enactment of this Sikh Uterotuo principle, that even if you are sovereign, even if the Republic of Kenya is sovereign, whatever it does in the Mara, it should be conscious of the fact that the neighbor in Tanzania is also in existence. You are not sovereign alone, because the other one is also sovereign, and therefore there are principles guiding this. Ladies and gentlemen, what about at continental level? I'm glad my sister did mention about the Africa Vision 2025. And therefore at continental level, similar instruments exist. The significance of transboundary water resources management in Africa. For instance, we have a number of plans, like the there's one called the G8 African Action Plan. We also have the new partnership. All of you are aware of the new partnership for African development, the PAD Action Plan on Water, and the Abuja Declaration on the African Ministerial Council. And this one, Matemo is very familiar with it. And of course, Kenya and the United Republic are members of the AMCAM. Another key instrument, that, of course, that drives the continental transboundary water agenda in Africa is what Madam Coletta mentioned, the Vision 2025. And this vision envisions an Africa where there is equitable and sustainable use and management of water resources for poverty alleviation, socioeconomic growth, development of regional cooperation, and also on environment. So it holistically looks at the whole sphere. Then when we cascade it down, guests of honor at the regional level, the East African community water sector is what, having been there, is what I would call tepid. We are still not very possible, and again, the French would call this COMSA. So we still need to do a lot of work at the East African community, especially in regard to management of transboundary waters. But having said that, I'm also happy that within the East African community, we have already there is some thinking that has been put on in terms of developing the East African community water framework. And this is really going to lead up the water management in East Africa a notch higher, and this one is akin to the EU water framework. So we really need to do a lot at the regional level in terms of coming with the instrument to support transboundary water management within East Africa, especially now that even East Africa is expanding. The United Republic, the Republic of South Sudan is on, the DRC Congo is on, and therefore there is going to be a whole set of transboundary water, and therefore it is imperative that we have a framework in East Africa. However, at the East African community level, we basically, the framework that is in use is basically the protocol for sustainable development of the Lake Victoria, which is very exclusive. And that is the reference point for almost all the activities that relates to transboundary water management. And fortunately now, the protocol has been upgraded. Now we have the Victoria Basin Commissions Act, I think ES 2020 or 2021 or thereabout, but is in existence, and I think that is a very big plus. And of course, we have also the EAC Vision 2050, although this one, if you look at it, it focuses much on water supply and sanitation, but I would wish to have a framework that actually looks at water in its totality. But perhaps the most surprising of the instrument that has been shocked even the international community is what I have talked about, our own development of the Memorandum of Understanding for the joint management of the Mara River waters. This is a big plus to us in Kenya here and in the United Republic of Tanzania, and even this activity that we are undertaking today is anchored on that Memorandum of Understanding, and indeed is like the guest of honor. You read my mind, because I was about to passionately appeal to you that since this memorandum of understanding has been there now, I think, for 12 years, and it has served as well as exemplified by what we are seeing today and what we will see tomorrow. Is it possible, now that the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Act has already been enacted and is in law, and within that Lake Victoria Basin Commission Act, Article 26 provides that the Council of Ministers can establish regulation to support the implementation of that act. Can we provoke that Article 26 so that we actually upgrade the memorandum of understanding into a regulation that is enforceable, because it has gone far? And if we do that way, it will now be easier for everyone to add that transboundary system in East Africa. Because let us not celebrate the Mara alone. Let us have Kibera Nyongwe Day. Let's also have Mount Elgon ecosystem. We have so many transboundary. Let us even have Chaladipe Umba Day. And therefore, we need now to expand the Mara Day. But my proposal is that we don't change it. Even if it is in Uganda, we still call it Mara Day. Because it started here. Or if you call it Mount Elgon, you call it Mount Elgon Mara Day, to retain the name of the father. Guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, the journey in transboundary water resource management has made great strides in Africa and also in East Africa, in particular within East Africa. But certainly, this has not been without challenges. There are so many people. NPI has been in this journey, and they know how many challenges we have in transboundary waters. And some of the challenges that we have faced in promoting or in pushing ahead the agenda of transboundary water include pollution. Pollution is one of the greatest challenges that we have. Certain mitigation measures, of course, have been put. Another one is lack of data. We need data to make decisions on how to manage these resources, but data is neither here nor there. Then we, of course, have the challenges of invasive weeds. And these invasive weeds are becoming worse and worse, especially now with the climate change. You know, we were talking of water hyacinth. I'm already told there is also another weed in the Mara that is coming up, and we need to do some research on that. And therefore, researchers have work to do. Another one is, of course, financial constraint, and therefore, that is why we need a sustainable financing mechanism for most of our transboundary ecosystem. And perhaps we should start thinking of a water fund for our own that partner states can contribute into. Institutional and structural challenges and shortcomings of the conclusion of a certain agreement. And here, our guest of honor, I'm even thinking about the water release and abstraction policy, which has those are also other challenges. Of course, weak institutional and legal framework, inadequate and only motivated staff, skilled staff, water professionals. We used to have these professionals. We used to have a club of the Delft University. I don't know engineer, whether you know there. I know engineer Luoga was there. So it was a club. They were enhancing the capacity of our water profession, but it is no longer there. And that is, of course, a weakness. And of course, we cannot undermine the impact that climate change is also having on this transboundary water ecosystem. Fortunately, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, especially within the Victoria Basin, and I'm glad with the efforts that the Executive Secretary is putting in mobilizing resources to continue supporting these transboundary ecosystems, given that we have a magnitude of challenges, and these challenges have built over time and therefore require huge investment. And an example of what already is giving us hope is the Integrated Water Resource Management Project. I'm happy that the GIZ is represented here. We know it is also being supported by EU and also the German government through the KFW. It's a program that we should support because it's one of the programs that is going to support us from addressing certain challenges that we face on transboundary water management. Of course, we have also dwelled, the Lake Victoria Basin Commission has also dwelled and told on issues on climate change through the Support of Adaptation Fund, a program that has really brought in some good hope, especially on our communities. We also have data and information sharing, some work on this data and information sharing, courtesy again of what the institution headed by Engineer Matemu, the partnership we have with the Victoria Basin under the Nile Cooperative Climate Change Resilience and developing a decision support system is going to give us data, and we will be able to use the data for making decisions to our policymakers and even for programming. I think that is a program again, ES, that should be supported. Institutional and legal framework is a challenge, but again, the partner states of East African Community and the East African Legislative Assembly came strongly, and they were able to enact the Victoria Transport Act, and therefore giving the Commission more teeth and more strength, if at all we use that new act. Unfortunately, finally, the issue of pollution. I'm aware, yes, that the initiative that you have had with the African Development Bank, and we will continue engaging so that we can support you, especially on issues of water and sanitation. So really, a lot of things are going on, and thanks to the development partners and the countries to support the initiative so that we are able to mobilize the resources to be able to address the issue of transboundary water and diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, several gaps that will require us to use research and science, and in particular technology, to fill them are needed. Research has played, is playing, and continue to play a very critical role in guiding policies in management and development of water resources. And it is along this thread that His Excellency, the ES, has shortly organized this workshop so that we can exchange information through science, because science plays a significant role. And this actually, Chair and our guest of honor, I think this information should even go to the highest organ, the Council of Ministers, that let us set aside finances for science, finances for research and science, because science and research is no longer a luxury that we can afford, and especially in the current and emerging issues, we need technology. I'm happy that one of the presentations this afternoon will be technology, how we use technology in forestry, and we can actually be able to use that one and be able to move so many steps ahead. Having said that, so that I also don't overspill, Paul, the organizer, told me that the keynote address are supposed to be a bit long, but I'm finding it is not going to be very long. Turning now our guest of honor to biodiversity, conservation for sustainable economy. Our planet, as you look at it, is actually beaming with life. And I know the guest, the chair, the guest of honor, you might quickly ask me, I don't know what is this biodiversity that you keep on talking about, biodiversity. True, and you are just right to ask that question, because one of the quick observations I make is we talk of biodiversity, and biodiversity is actually with us, but very little is understood by the local people on biodiversity. When they hear biodiversity, they will go that way because they don't associate themselves with it, and they live with it. Biodiversity simply refers to the variety of life on Earth, including plants, animals, even things like fungus and microorganisms. All those ones are biodiversity. And that's why even if you see people killing butterflies and what have you, they are told you are destroying biodiversity, because biodiversity is actually the foundation of life on Earth. Scientists have estimated that we have about 1.7 million species on our planet, 1.7 million species in our planet that has been discovered. But in total, they say the total biodiversity is about 8.7 million. So there is still almost 7 million of species that have not been identified. And therefore, I think some of us, we should start looking for those that have not been discovered, because in botany is the study of plant. When you discover a plant, it is given a name, and your name is also put at the end there. That's mataka, kwa pale mwisho. Ukigundua mmea, unapewa majina ya kwake, lakini pale mwisho jina lako linabandikwa pale. Lakini si kusema huyo jina ni wewe, ni jina mnyama ama nini, lakini inaonyesha kwamba wewe ndio umegundua. Kwa hivyo kuna nafasi nyingi sana za wanasiasa, wanasayansi kutusaidia ku identify hao wanyama. But unfortunately, because of the high level that these species are facing extinction, we might not even be at 8 million. They are now becoming so because some of them are getting extinct. Some we don't even discover, and they just disappear because of extinction. That whole set is what we call biodiversity. Ladies and gentlemen, biodiversity is the foundation and insurance of life on Earth. Diverse wildlife, plants, species help the ecosystem thrive, protect us from disasters, and even regulate climate change. But we are in the midst of a global crisis. We are actually in a global crisis. Species are going extinct faster than ever. And many of the world's biodiversity are actually found in countries that either have high levels of poverty or are insecure, or there is intensification of climate change. So that even compounds the problem on biodiversity. And you all remember what we talk about: poverty begets poverty, or poverty begets degradation, and degradation begets poverty. So sometimes watu wanauliza hiyo ni kama ile ya yai na kuku. Was it poverty first and then degradation, or was it degradation and poverty? But in my own opinion, this world, when God created it, it had no degradation. So it is poverty. Umaskini ndio ulituingilia ndio tukaanza kufanya degradation. So we have to address poverty if we have to ensure gradation. To protect biodiversity, chairperson, and the prosperity of the prosperity of our local community, we must adapt and demand for more responsible and sustainable practices, especially smart agriculture, smart and resilient agriculture systems that safeguard the soil, the forest, and the water. That way we can have a balance in existence. Protecting biodiversity impacts literally on every aspect of our life. Even the air that we breathe, the food we eat, the places, the shelter we have, all of them are impacted by diversity. And if you remove any part of biodiversity, then the whole system is, there is a possibility of the whole system collapsing. Because you can imagine, for example, the Mara without lions, and the Mara without the river. All these things, and these things can actually be able to happen. And it has been alluded that within species, there is one species that can make the whole biodiversity or the whole ecosystem collapse, and that species is called Homo sapien. I'm not going to say what Homo sapien is, because I'll be pointing fingers on myself. Humans, of course, are the greatest threat to nature and biodiversity. As a matter of fact, we are facing the worst ever crisis, and sadly we, the human beings, are actually the culture. For example, it is estimated by UNEP, and this is important to listen, because some of these data are there, and we think they don't affect us, but one day in the other they will affect us. UNEP estimates that we are using equivalent of 1.6 Earth. 1.6 Earth. Hatutumii hii dunia kwetu, lakini tunatumia zaidi ya dunia kwetu. We are using 1.6 Earth to sustain ourselves. So we have even gone beyond the one Earth that God gave us. And if there was maybe another planet we have gone there, to be able to sustain our life. And this is demand. And it is also stated that 1 million of the world estimated 80 million plants and animals are threatened with the extinction. The example of extinction is there is a fish, for those people who do fisheries, there is a small fish called cichlid. Cichlid, they are very small fish, but cichlids survive in very clean water. And the reason why they need clean water which is not polluted is because the mating patterns of this cichlid depends on color. It's called the color moth. They use the color. And the male is attracted by the color of a female. And the females are very lovely colors. And now because of the pollution, the turbidity of the water has gone so down. and it has affected the beautiful color of the females. So when the males are moving around, they don't see those females. They just walk around. So eventually what happens is procreation does not take place and the cichlids are getting extinct. Just one aspect of pollution causes extinction of a species. What other pollutions can we talk about? There are so many of them. So it is an issue that we need to be serious about. 75% of the Earth's land has been significantly altered by humans, and 85% of these includes wetlands. Most of our wetlands are going, and this is information that is provided by EPBS. And close to 90% of the world marine fish stock are fully exploited, overexploited, or even depleted. Again, this is by UNCTAD. Our global food system is the primary driver of biodiversity loss, with the agriculture alone contributing to the loss of about 24,000 species out of 28. So agriculture again is a casualty, but again we have to have the agriculture because we need to live. And of course the information from CBD is agricultural expansion accounts for about 70% of the loss of biodiversity. Again, agriculture here is on focus, and our scientists now need to tell us what type of agriculture are we going to have that can still sustain our biodiversity. Chair, I think I'll conclude by this long keynote address. It was just intended to tease out our mind by making a few conclusions. On water and on transboundary water and water management and diplomacy, I have just a few recommendations or such a few proposals that I would make, but most of my recommendations are inclined towards the African Water Vision 2025, and we are saying that all actors, both the state and non-state actors, should strive in whichever way and magnitude to ensure that there is sustainable access to water, safe water, adequate for water supply, sanitation, in to meet most basic needs for our people. That is number one. There should be adequate water for sustaining ecosystems and biodiversity, both in terms of quantity and also in quality. And this is where we call scientists to come up and try to operationalize. We know there are what we call environmental flows and even have water allocation, so that everybody will be able to have water. Water is not only for human, but it's also for biodiversity. Otherwise, if you just drink everything and leave biodiversity alone, again, you'll be attracting suicide. Insufficient institutions that deal with transboundary water resources must be flayed, reformed, and supported to create an enabling environment to effectively integrate management of transboundary water basins. So support for this institution. I know in Tanzania we have a Department of Transboundary Waters, and so is in Kenya, but we need these institutions to be very well facilitated and, if possible, be able to be reformed if they can perform better. The water basin should be designated to serve as the basis for regional cooperation, development, and should be, of course, should be treated as a natural asset for all. So we are also saying that, especially if you look at the Lake Victoria Basin, it's quite a huge area for the years. It is 184,000 square kilometers. Perhaps in the future, we should strategize, or we should start thinking on how we segment it in transboundary basins, so that this becomes the amino acids of the Commission, so that the cooperation is actually done at those transboundary water basins as opposed to looking at the entire Lake Victoria Basin. To support decision making, informed policy formulation and programming, there must be an effective and sustainable system for data collection, assessment, and even dissemination for transboundary water basin. We need data, as I have indicated. But then finally, efforts must be made to cultivate political goodwill. There must be political goodwill between partner states, especially to facilitate data exchange. That one I normally call it hardware. We have software, hardware, and we have the hardware, which is the political goodwill. Guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, on biodiversity, again, I'll tilt my conclusion and recommendation slightly on the CBD, the Convention on Biodiversity, and say that there is serious need for sensitization. As I've said, people need to know what is biodiversity, especially at the local level. Lazima tuelewe biodiversity ni nini na benefits za biodiversity zitakuwa zipi. We must also cascade down from conventions. We talk about convention, but we must bring them down to the earth for action. And one examples that we have, I mentioned about the conventions on water, and we have brought them down through the memorandum of understanding. That should happen in other areas. And of course, there should be deliberate investment on nature-based solution if at all we are to meet biodiversity targets under the SDG. Fortunately, if you look at the SDG, there are actually two SDGs that deal with biodiversity. SDG number 14, which is actually life underwater, and the SDG number 15, which is life on the water, and therefore already in terms of SDG, biodiversity is well covered with 2 out of 17 sustainable development goals. Chairperson, the last one is about cooperation. We should be able to sort of like engage corporations and the private sector to ensure that sustainability is in the heart of business. It should not be business as usual, extraction without sustainability, and they need to be part of the agenda. So cooperation and the private sector, it's important that these are engaged so that we can be able to move the agenda of biodiversity ahead. Nitafika hapo kwa kikomo, nitatamatisha hapo kwa kuwashukuru sana wale ambao wameandaa mhadhara huu, Victoria Basin Commission, Jumuiya ya Muungano wa Tanzania, pia tunawashukuruni sana kwa mipango yenu kila wakati ikiwa mizuri. Nashukuru pia watu ndugu zangu kutoka Kenya pia wamekuja kwa wingi, kuna wageni wengine wameingia, tunashukuru, na yetu ni kuombea huu muungano wa Mara uwe kielelezo cha maendeleo yale mengine na uhusiano baina ya nchi za Afrika Mashariki, Tanzania, Jamhuri ya Tanzania, Jamhuri ya Tanzania, Jamhuri ya Kenya, Jamhuri ya Kenya. Nawashukuru sana na Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki. Shukrani sana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matano. Another round of applause for our keynote speaker. Jamani, naomba makofi yenu kwa speakers wetu wote wa session ya kwanza. Naomba na makofi kwangu moderator. The ball is thrown to Millicent. Thank you, Millicent.
Thank you very much. Through my executive secretary, I'd like to sincerely thank our chief guest, our keynote speaker, and the team that is up here. Tuwapigeni makofi pia nao. Thank you very much for starting us on a high, a strong, and we would now like to make you stronger by giving you a cup of tea. So once we are done with this session, first we will have a group photo for the team that is up here, and Baraka, you will come and coordinate that. And then we will have our dignitaries taking their tea. Both tea has been served outside. We have a reserved section for our seniors, and Pamela is going to lead them there. And the rest of us will use the rear door. And as you go out, please remember to read the essays from the children. These are the future Madam Edith that we have. These are the future Dr. Masindes that we have. These are the future Dr. Matanos that we have, who will give keynote speeches, and you will be seated in the audience listening to them. Let us remember those children with a round of applause. I also wish to recognize the presence of the chairman of Serengeti, DC, Mr. Ayub Makuruma. Wherever you are, please stand for recognition. I also wish to recognize the presence of Mr. John Elungata from the State Department of Environment and Climate Change. And I will request that you will join in that group photo. I also wish to recognize the presence of Mr. Mwandime from NEMA, Republic of Kenya. This way. So with those few remarks, I will Thank you. We also have Dr. George Lugomela, Director of Water Resources from the United Republic of Tanzania. Karibu sana. And we will now break for tea, but I will ask Karama. DC Bunda, tunakukaribisha sana, karibu sana. And we will continue to recognize them as the day goes by, and we will not stop recognizing our sponsors for today, EcoBank and GIZ. And Clio TV is live, streaming this event live. Makofi kwao pia. Please spread the word. So I will allow Baraka now and his team to come and take over so that we have that group photo. Mr. Elingata, please join at the podium, and then we break for tea. Please serve the tea and come back so that we are able to catch up on time.
Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud 24 TV. Hii ni Cloud 24 TV ikiwa live moja kwa moja katika viwanja vya Serengeti, kongamano la kisayansi kuhusu uhifadhi wa bonde la Mto Mara. Na hapa nipo na Frankius Cleophas. Frankius Cleophas, umelionaje kongamano hili la kisayansi hapa Serengeti?
Kiukweli kongamano limeenda vizuri kwa sababu tumeona baadhi ya viongozi mbalimbali wamekuwa wakizungumzia ni jinsi gani ambavyo tunaweza kuendelea kuhifadhi bonde la Mto Mara, kwa maana ya kuhifadhi vyanzo vya maji ili wale wanyama waweze kupata maji, pia kuendeleza swala zima la uoto wa asili. Kama unavyoona hapa tayari viongozi wanapiga picha ya pamoja. Tunakuletea matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka Serengeti, Mara, Tanzania. Hii ni Cloud 24 TV. Mtazamaji, usisahau kusubscribe, kulike wala kucomment. Pia ukihitaji huduma ya live au kurusha mikutano ya moja kwa moja, usisahau kupiga 0766424928. Popote pale tunapatikana Tanzania, Mara, Tanzania. Popote pale ulipo tunaweza kukufikia ili tuweze kukupa hizi huduma za moja kwa moja. Kama unavyoona hapa tayari viongozi wanasalimiana, wanapata picha ya pamoja. Wakimaliza pia wataenda kupata chai na tutarudi tena. Tuko mbashara kutoka hapa ukumbi wa Kisare Mgumu Serengeti. Lengo kubwa ni mjadala wa pamoja ambao unazungumza ni jinsi gani wanaweza wakaendelea kuhifadhi swala zima la bonde la Mto Mara. Ni kongamano la kisayansi kuhusu uhifadhi wa bonde la Mto Mara, ambapo pia kesho yatakuwa ni kilele cha maadhimisho ya bonde la Mto Mara, ambapo itakuwa ni viwanja vya Serengeti pale. Wewe mtazamaji wa Cloud 24 TV usisahau kusubscribe, pia endelea kutufuatilia moja kwa moja, na haya matangazo kesho tutayarusha moja kwa moja kutoka viwanja vya Serengeti, Mara, Tanzania. Usisahau kusubscribe, like wala kucomment, endelea kutufuatilia. Hiyo ni picha ya pamoja ambapo viongozi mbalimbali wakiongozwa na katibu tawala wa mkoa Mara wanapata picha ya pamoja, ni viongozi wanapata picha ya pamoja. Mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud 24 TV, endelea kutufuatilia. Ukihitaji huduma za live au moja kwa moja, tunapatikana Tarime, Mara, Tanzania. Ofisi zetu zipo mkabara na kanisa la KKT au kanisa la Mennonite au karibu na kanisa la KKT. Au unaweza ukaja moja kwa moja pale Godland ukiuliza Cloud 24 TV, hata mtoto mdogo atakuleta moja kwa moja, utaweza kupata huduma. Utaweza kufanya mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kupitia studio za Cloud 24 TV ambazo zinapatikana halmashauri ya mji wa Tarime. Karibu sana, endelea kuwa nasi. Asante sana. Karibu Gitano.
Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud 24 TV, huyu alikuwa ni Frankius Cleophas akiendelea kutujulisha nini kinachoendelea hapo Serengeti katika ukumbi wa Kisare. Na nafikiri sasa ni mapumziko. Session ya kwanza imeisha na watu wanaenda kupata chai kidogo. Naam, usisite kutufuatilia Cloud 24 TV. Na mpenzi mtazamaji, nyuma ya kamera na kwenye mtambo kabisa ni Gitano Moremi, ndio anakuletea matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka Serengeti. Naam, nimesha kupata watu wanatuma jumbe mbalimbali. Simon Lioba anasema ongera sana, tuko pamoja Maradei. Anaitwa Sopatra anasema tuko pamoja na wafuatilia Maradei. Anaitwa Mgini Jacobo anasema congratulations, tuko pamoja. Anaitwa James Chazi Sikazwe anasema tuko pamoja. Naam, tuko pamoja. Anaitwa Pastor Malala kutoka Mennonite, naye anatuambia congratulations, tuko pamoja. Na mimi nasema tuko pamoja. Asante sana. Hivi sasa tuko na mwenyekiti wa halmashauri ya
halmashauri ya mji wa Tarime, Daniel Komote. Tunataka atupe maoni kuhusu kongamano la leo. Karibu sana.
Naam, mheshimiwa, karibu sana.
Asante. Kiukweli mimi nipende tu kushukuru hizi nchi mbili kwa maana ya Kenya na Tanzania kwa namna ambavyo wanauenzi na kuhifadhi huu mto Mara. Tumepata mada mbalimbali hapa, lakini lengo kubwa ni kutaka kuona namna ambavyo mto wa asili unavyohifadhiwa katika huu mto Mara. Na nimefurahi sana kwa hizi mada. Na lakini pia niwapongeze wenzetu wa Kenya, wanajitahidi sana. Na tumejifunza hata sisi wa Tanzania. Ni vema tukiungana wote kwa kweli kwa pamoja, huu mto utakuwa na uhifadhi na uoto wa asili wa hali ya juu sana. Na nitumie nafasi hii kuwaomba sana hata wale ambao wanaishi kando kando ya mto Mara, ambako kimsingi ndio chanzo kikubwa cha uharibifu ni wale wanaoishi pamoja karibu na huo mto. Wajitahidi sana 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 kuutunza huu mto Mara. Hii ni tuno ya taifa, ni tuno ya asili iliyoumbwa na mbingu na Mungu wa mbingu na dunia. Sisi kazi yetu ni kuutunza na kuhifadhi kama ambavyo tumekuwa tukielekezwa na waliotangulia na tuliopo sasa hivi, na kuhifadhi kwa ajili ya vizazi vyetu vijavyo. Asante sana na kushukuru sana ndugu mtangazaji.
Naam, na tulikuwa na Daniel Komote na umetoka kumsikiliza mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cleo 24 TV, na hapa tumepata mgeni mwingine ajitambulishe kisha tuweze kumjua. Asante, karibu sana.
Kwa majina anaitwa Juma Elias Kegoe, ni mwenyekiti wa jumuiya ya watumia maji Tikite Juu. Hapa tunasherehekea maadhimisho ya mto Mara. Ni Mara Day. Hapa tupo nchi mbili, Tanzania na Kenya, lakini kwa lengo moja tu kwamba tunaendelea ni namna gani tunaweza kuimarisha utunzaji wa mazingira ya bonde la Ziwa Victoria, hasa mto Mara, ambayo mto Mara unaanzia nchini Kenya, ambao unatisha maji yake kuja Tanzania mpaka Ziwa Victoria. Maadhimisho haya yalianza tangu jana, lakini tunahitimisha kesho. Lakini kwa lengo kubwa tu kwamba tunahakikisha ni jinsi gani tunaweza kutunza vyanzo vya maji, hasa vile mito midogo midogo ambayo inatiririsha maji kwenda mto Mara. Ni kuhakikisha kwamba watu wamepata elimu ya kutosha kuhusu utunzaji vyanzo vya maji, viumbe hai vya majini vinavyoishi majini, na kuhakikisha kwamba watu wanapanda miti ambayo ni rafiki wa maji ili kuendelea kuimarisha utunzaji wa mto Mara. Asante.
Naam, asante sana. Ni mdau wa mto Mara ametoka kuzungumza sasa hivi, na wadau mbalimbali sasa wanaendelea kupata kifungua kinywa pale. Nadhani tuendelee kuwa karibu na Cleo 24 TV. Naam, hapa kuna Cleo 24 TV. Cleo, una jambo lolote labda uwaambie watazamaji wanao tazama na kusikiliza Cleo 24 TV sasa hivi?
Mpaka sasa hivi nadhani ulimwengu mzima unatufuatilia. Tunarusha matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka Serengeti, Mara, Tanzania. Ni kongamano la kisayansi kuhusu uhifadhi wa bonde la mto Mara. Na nadhani labda kama ambacho unaweza nikazungumzia ni jinsi gani ambavyo Watanzania wameungana kwa pamoja kwa maana ya nchi za East Africa. Wapo viongozi ambao wametoka Uganda, wapo viongozi ambao wametoka Kenya. Lengo kubwa ni kuhakikisha wanaendelea kulinda bonde la Mto Mara na viumbe vyake, na sasa sisi kama Watanzania hatuna budi kutumia hii fursa kuhakikisha tunaendelea kutazama Cloud24 TV, na kama unavyoangalia tayari viongozi wanapata chai. Tuendelee kufuatilia Cloud24 TV. Muda si mrefu tutarudi kuendelea na kongamano.
Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Cloud24 TV, endelea kutufuatilia. Here we go. We'll back soon. Asante sana.